Fire Part 15 Chapter 1 Raj Dangas, the steel gaze, massive arms and the incredible transformation that shocked the fourth horizon, muscular arms, big biceps, relentless discipline and the next titan rises, Iron Titans Saga Fire. Thumbs up before this chapter begins, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with fellow bodybuilder fans, fitness enthusiasts, gym motivation followers, muscle athletes, and everyone who enjoys epic transformation journeys. The fourth horizon has begun, and Ethan Vale is about to meet a man whose discipline, work ethic, and physical transformation have already become legendary among the next generation of titans. The weeks following the historic gathering that officially introduced the philosophy of the Fourth Horizon brought a noticeable shift throughout the Spa Hammam retreat and the broader transformation network connected to the Titan Protocol, because for the first time in decades the movement was no longer focused primarily on uncovering hidden knowledge from the past but instead on identifying and developing individuals capable of carrying those lessons into the future, and among the countless names being discussed by mentors, coaches, educators, and community leaders, one name continued appearing with remarkable frequency. Raj Dangas. At first Ethan Vale knew very little about him. Only fragments, stories, rumors, recommendations, mentions from respected mentors, references from transformation centers operating across different regions. Yet the consistency of those references immediately attracted Ethan's attention because regardless of who described Raj Dangas, the same themes emerged repeatedly. Discipline, consistency, humility, relentless work ethic, and perhaps most notably, an extraordinary ability to inspire others without actively seeking attention. One morning Adrian Wolfe handed Ethan a file containing information about several individuals identified as potential representatives of the Fourth Horizon generation, and although the folder contained many impressive candidates, Raj Dangas immediately stood out because unlike others whose achievements focused primarily on competition results, social influence, or professional accomplishments, Raj's story revolved around transformation itself. Not instant success, not shortcuts, transformation, the kind Adrian Wolfe respected most. The file described years of consistent effort, early setbacks, difficult circumstances, long periods of uncertainty, countless training sessions completed without recognition, thousands of disciplined decisions made when nobody was watching. The story felt familiar because it reflected principles central to everything the Titan Protocol represented. Muscle earned slowly. Strength earned slowly. Character earned slowly. Nothing meaningful appeared overnight. Later that afternoon Ethan attended a training session where Raj Dangas was scheduled to arrive. The facility overlooked one of the highest points within the retreat, surrounded by mountains and open skies, creating an atmosphere that encouraged focus and determination rather than distraction. The moment Raj entered the facility, Ethan immediately understood why people remembered him. It was not simply his physique. Although the physique was undeniably impressive. Broad shoulders, powerful chest, massive arms, well-developed back, years of disciplined training visible in every movement. What stood out even more was his presence. His focus, his calm intensity, his famous gaze, the expression often described by mentors as the steel gaze. Not aggression, determination, the look of someone who had learned how to continue moving forward regardless of circumstances. As Raj began training, the facility gradually became quieter. Not because anyone demanded silence. Because attention naturally shifted toward him. Every repetition looked deliberate, every movement controlled, every exercise performed with precision developed through years of refinement. The atmosphere reminded Ethan of stories he once heard regarding Atlas Black during his prime years. Not because the two men were identical. Because both embodied discipline rather than performance. Substance rather than spectacle. As the session continued, Ethan observed younger athletes watching closely from nearby platforms. Some admired Raj's muscular arms and impressive physique. Others admired the consistency visible in his approach. Several mentors encouraged their students to pay attention not merely to the weight being lifted but to the quality of effort behind every repetition. That distinction mattered, because throughout fitness culture many people focused exclusively on results while overlooking the habits responsible for creating those results. Raj appeared to understand this better than most. Later that evening Ethan finally sat down with Raj beside one of the spa hammam terraces overlooking the valley below. Steam drifted upward through the cool mountain air while distant lights illuminated pathways connecting training facilities, mentorship halls, and recovery centers across the retreat. Their conversation lasted hours. What surprised Ethan most was Raj's perspective. Despite his achievements, he rarely spoke about accomplishments. Instead he spoke about process, consistency, learning, improvement, responsibility. When discussing muscle development, he emphasized patience. When discussing strength, he emphasized discipline. When discussing transformation, he emphasized identity. The biggest change isn't physical, Raj explained while looking toward the mountains. It's learning who you become when excuses stop controlling your decisions. The statement remained with Ethan, because it aligned perfectly with principles Adrian Wolfe spent decades teaching. Transformation was never just about muscle. Muscle was evidence. The deeper transformation occurred internally. As darkness settled across the valley, Adrian Wolfe joined them unexpectedly. For several moments the three men sat together in comfortable silence. Then Adrian finally spoke. The fourth horizon needs builders. Raj listened carefully. The next generation needs examples. Another pause. The question is whether those examples are ready. The statement carried unusual weight. Because Ethan immediately sensed Adrian was discussing something larger than mentorship programs or training systems. Something important was approaching. Something capable of testing the future leadership of the entire movement. Raj seemed to understand this as well. His expression remained calm, focused, determined. The same steel gaze that inspired countless athletes now reflected something deeper. Responsibility, commitment, purpose. Far below them, the lights of the retreat continued glowing beneath the night sky while hundreds of bodybuilders, fitness enthusiasts, coaches, mentors, and future leaders pursued their own journeys. The fourth horizon was growing. The next generation was emerging. And for the first time, Ethan realized that Raj Dangas might become one of the most important figures of that generation. Yet neither man knew that events already unfolding beyond the mountains would soon force them into challenges unlike anything they had faced before. Challenges that would test not only their strength, but their leadership, their character, and their willingness to carry the legacy of the Titan Protocol into an uncertain future. Fire to be continued in Part 15 Chapter 2. Thumbs up, like the video if you enjoyed this chapter. Speech balloon comment. Do you think Raj Dangas is destined to become one of the leaders of the fourth horizon? Bell, subscribe and turn on notifications for Part 15 Chapter 2. Loudspeaker, share with bodybuilder fans, fitness enthusiasts, gym motivation followers, and everyone who enjoys epic transformation stories. Fire Part 15 Chapter 2. Raj Dangas. The steel gaze, massive arms and the test of the fourth horizon. Bodybuilder power, huge biceps, muscle worship, fitness legacy and the rise of a new titan. Iron Titans Saga. Fire. Thumbs up before this chapter begins. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with fellow bodybuilder fans, fitness enthusiasts, muscle athletes, gym motivation followers, and everyone who enjoys epic transformation adventures. Raj Dangas has entered the world of the fourth horizon, but the path ahead will demand far more than physical strength. The next generation of Titans must prove they can carry a legacy built over decades, and the first true test is about to begin. The morning after Adrian Wolfe's unexpected conversation with Raj Dangas arrived beneath a sky covered by thick clouds rolling slowly across the mountain peaks surrounding the Spa Hammam retreat, creating an atmosphere that felt strangely symbolic because while the retreat itself remained active with athletes, bodybuilders, fitness models, mentors, and transformation leaders pursuing their daily routines, a sense of anticipation had begun spreading throughout the valley as news circulated that Adrian Wolfe and the Council of Titans were preparing a new initiative designed specifically to identify future leaders of the fourth horizon, and although many participants believed the program would resemble traditional leadership training, Ethan Vale suspected something entirely different was being planned because every important stage of the Titan protocol's history had challenged individuals not through comfort but through uncertainty. Throughout the morning, conversations echoed across training platforms, recovery areas, mentorship halls, and outdoor gathering spaces as people speculated about what might happen next. Yet despite the excitement surrounding the upcoming announcement, Raj Dangas appeared remarkably calm, moving through his training session with the same disciplined focus Ethan had observed the previous day, performing each repetition with deliberate control while paying little attention to the growing attention surrounding him. And that consistency impressed Ethan because many people became distracted when recognition increased, whereas Raj seemed more committed to the process than to the spotlight. As the session progressed, Ethan spent time observing not only Raj's physical abilities but also the way other athletes responded to his presence, and what stood out most was that admiration rarely centered exclusively on his physique despite the obvious impact created by his broad shoulders, muscular arms, powerful chest, and years of dedicated development, because younger athletes frequently approached him with questions about discipline, setbacks, motivation, and consistency rather than simply asking about training methods, suggesting that Raj's influence extended beyond aesthetics into something deeper and more meaningful. The distinction reminded Ethan of something Adrian Wolfe often emphasized. Muscle attracts attention. Character sustains influence. Many people develop impressive physiques. Far fewer develop trust, respect, credibility, the ability to inspire others through example rather than instruction. Raj appeared to possess those qualities naturally. Later that afternoon, the entire retreat received instructions to gather near a massive outdoor amphitheater carved into the mountainside, a location traditionally reserved for announcements considered important to the future of the movement. And as hundreds of attendees gradually filled the stone seating areas while distant clouds drifted above the surrounding peaks, the atmosphere became increasingly focused because everyone understood that something significant was about to occur. When Adrian Wolfe finally appeared, accompanied by Marcus, Ethan Vale, Elena Hart, and several senior members of the Council of Titans, silence spread throughout the amphitheater. Fire Part 15 Final Chapter Raj Dangas. The legacy trial of the Fourth Horizon, steel gaze, massive arms, big biceps, bodybuilder power and the birth of a new Titan fire Iron Titans Saga. Thumbs up before this final chapter begins, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with fellow bodybuilder fans, fitness enthusiasts, gym motivation followers, muscle athletes, and everyone who enjoys epic transformation adventures. The legacy trial has begun. Raj Dangas now stands at the crossroads between personal achievement and generational responsibility, while Ethan Vale witnesses the emergence of a new leader capable of carrying the principles of the Fourth Horizon into an uncertain future. The sunrise that marked the beginning of the first legacy trial arrived with an unusual sense of gravity that seemed to settle across every corner of the Spa Hammam retreat, because although thousands of training sessions, competitions, seminars, and transformation challenges had taken place throughout the Valley over the years, everyone present understood that this event represented something fundamentally different. Not because it would test physical strength more intensely than previous challenges, but because it would reveal whether the next generation possessed the wisdom, discipline, resilience, humility, and leadership required to preserve everything Adrian Wolfe and the Titan Protocol had spent decades building. Long before dawn, athletes, mentors, bodybuilders, fitness models, educators, entrepreneurs, and community leaders gathered throughout the retreat, filling terraces, observation platforms, and outdoor gathering spaces overlooking the mountains, while conversations carried an energy that blended excitement with anticipation, because nobody knew exactly what the legacy trial would involve. and that uncertainty itself seemed intentional, forcing participants to confront not merely external obstacles but also their own expectations, assumptions, and definitions of success. Raj Dangas stood among the participants with the same calm focus that had become his signature throughout the retreat. His broad shoulders, massive arms, powerful physique, and years of disciplined training naturally attracted attention. Yet what impressed Vale most was not the physical presence that had earned Raj admiration across transformation networks, but the absence of ego accompanying that presence, because while many individuals became consumed by recognition, Raj seemed increasingly focused on responsibility, treating every compliment not as validation but as a reminder that influence carried obligations extending beyond personal achievement. As the first rays of sunlight appeared over the mountains, Adrian Wolfe stepped onto the central platform overlooking the valley. Silence spread almost instantly. Thousands of eyes focused on him. Yet instead of delivering instructions regarding physical tests, obstacle courses, or competitive evaluations, Adrian simply asked a question. What remains when admiration disappears? The words echoed across the valley. No one answered. Because the question was not designed to produce a verbal response. It was designed to provoke reflection. Adrian allowed the silence to continue before speaking again. What remains when success fades? Another pause. What remains when strength declines? The audience remained completely still. Then Adrian delivered the statement that would define the entire legacy trial. Character. The simplicity of the answer made it even more powerful. Because everyone present understood its truth immediately. Muscle changes. Records change. Recognition changes. Fame changes. Circumstances change. Character remains. The first phase of the legacy trial therefore focused not on performance but on service. Participants were assigned to teams responsible for mentoring younger athletes, assisting community projects, solving complex organizational problems. Supo. Sighed Ethan, overlooking the valley one final time. The future belongs to them now, Adrian said. Ethan followed his gaze toward Raj and the other representatives of the fourth horizon. The next generation. The next leaders. The next builders. The next titans. Far below, lights continued shining across the spa hammam retreat while bodybuilders, fitness models, coaches, mentors, and transformation leaders continued their journeys beneath the mountains. The story would continue. New challenges would emerge. New leaders would rise. New horizons would appear. But one truth would remain unchanged. Strength begins in muscle. Greatness begins in character. And legacy begins when strength is used to elevate others. Fire. End of part 15. Fire. Thumbs up, like this video if you enjoyed the story. Speech balloon comment. Should Raj Dangas become one of the main leaders in part 16? Bell subscribe and turn on notifications for part 16. Loudspeaker share with bodybuilder fans, fitness enthusiasts, muscle athletes, gym motivation followers, and everyone who enjoys epic transformation stories. Fire Part 15. Raj Dangas, the steel gaze, massive arms in the legacy trial, bodybuilder transformation, big biceps in the fourth horizon. Fire. Thumbs up, like, speech balloon comment, bell subscribe, loudspeaker share. In Iron Titans Saga Part 15, Vale enters a new chapter of the Fourth Horizon era and meets one of the most inspiring rising figures of the next generation, Raj Dangas. Known for his steel gaze, massive arms, powerful physique, relentless discipline, and unwavering commitment to self-improvement, Raj quickly becomes a symbol of what the Titan Protocol was always meant to create. As the Fourth Horizon begins, Adrian Wolfe introduces the Legacy Trial, a unique challenge designed not to test physical strength alone, but character, leadership, resilience, responsibility,